Alaska. Homer is about 220 miles south of Anchorage, and it's a place where it's right on the ocean. And I live on a place called the home of Homer Spit, which is a projectile of land about 5 miles out into the ocean. And so we're surrounded on water by all sides, of course, except for the road that goes to town. I started an eagle feeding program about 10 or 11 years ago, and started out with just a very few birds, 3 or 4 that just happened to be hanging around. I threw a few scraps out, and now it's developed into really a major operation where I have over 300 birds, and I feed many, many thousands of pounds of food during the course of the winter. I get this food from Seward Fisheries, where I'm in charge of the crab processing over there. And so in the fall of the year, I'm able to save food for them. Also, people will clean out the freezers from their freezer burned meat, and fishermen will bring me fish that is not good for human consumption, but is fine for the birds. So that way I get all my food for them. And I have to know that I'm going to have enough food when I start, so to go through the winter before I do start. Because once you start, you can't stop. You have to feed every day, and regardless of the weather. And sometimes we get some very heavy winds out here in the wintertime where it's 30 below wind chill, and the only time they don't come in is when there's whiteout conditions or fog where they can't see. Then they will stay away for a day, and then of course come in the next day a lot hungrier than what they have would be ordinarily. They start coming in about the middle of November, and they start leaving about the middle of April to May 1st. At that time, they're all gone back to their nesting areas. And I have some coming from as far away as Kodiak, which is 160 air miles away. And they're tagged ones, so that's how come we can trace where that they have come from. And Fish and Wildlife support this program. And they know that if they find a bird that's caught in a trap and he's not hurt real bad, that they can let him loose, and if he's not too far away, they know he'll find his way here and have food for the winter, and they'll heal themselves quite fast. And it's a lot easier on a bird that way than it is to capture them and take them to the rapture center, as it creates a lot of stress on an eagle to be captured and taken into captivity. These are all bald eagles, and they develop their white head between the age of 5 and 6 years, and I have a lot of immatures. Only about 50% of your immatures survive their first year, and I'm creating a situation where probably 75% survive. So of course it's creating a lot more eagles here in Alaska. And this is probably the only place in the world that you can see this many eagles this close up. We have larger groups of eagles at other places, but you cannot get this close to them. And I have barricades up and signs for people that come out to take pictures. And as long as you stay in your car, just roll your window down, you can get within 20 or 30 feet of them a lot of times, and don't even need a zoom lens for your camera. But the minute you open your car door, then they leave. And so it's the same as with any wildlife. The less that they see of you, the more you're going to see of them. And I put up a camouflage here in my yard and set my camera behind it, so that they didn't even know that they were being filmed. And because I feed them right over my fence here, and I live right on the ocean, and so you could maybe be able to hear the ocean in the background. But I also haul up a lot of driftwood off the beach we have a lot of storms, and it brings in a lot of heavy driftwood, so I haul it up and place it around in the feeding area, so they're able to perch up on that, and it makes it quite a picturesque scene. Also, the fact that they like to sit up off the ground too, and so it's as I say, it's quite picturesque to come and see. About 300 eagles sitting around. They'll sit around for an hour or two after they're done feeding, as long as they're not disturbed. But if dogs start running through or people start running around, then they leave immediately. And they come in at daybreak. So as the days get longer, then I get up earlier and earlier, and by the time April comes, I'm getting up about 5 in the morning to feed them. And they'll stay around. They usually feed for about 2 hours. And I have there's quite a few cripple birds that come in that have been caught in traps and are missing toes or missing a foot or missing sometimes a whole leg. And this just gives them an easier chance to survive. And in the wintertime, it gets pretty tough for them, and everything is frozen up. And if we don't have a good rabbit crop, why there's a lot less food around for them. And plus the fact that a lot of people have moved in and taken up their territory, as they have with the moose and the caribou and all the wildlife. So I really feel that we better start giving them a helping hand when it's necessary. And because we'd like to keep this really a great land that it is, and with all the wildlife that we have. And this is probably about the most beautiful place in the world right here on the Homer Spit with the beautiful mountains around. So I do not have real good camera equipment like I would like to have. I can't afford it. But I tried to get some good shots, and really hope that you enjoy it. So thank you. I'm going to be throwing some more food out here. I get a chance to see them come down and pick it up. This is 7th of December, so there's only about a third of the birds have come in. There's going to be well over 300 another month or so. Yeah, we're not going to let anybody get his food. You can really wrap those rings right around themselves. Now, if we're lucky, we'll see some eagles taking a bath. Something you don't see very often. We had a lot of rain last night and left this big freshwater pool down there, so they're all kind of sitting around in it after they get done eating. I'm going to move the camera very slowly and see if we can pick up a bunch of them. A big pile of goodies for him down here. You see them all lined up on the beach down there. It's starting to rain, so I may have to quit filming here, and I've got stuff in front of me blocking the view. This is the kind of weather that makes it tough on the eagles. We've got a high tide like this and wind chills at least 40 below. The wind's blowing about 50 and temperatures around 10. Birds don't even get a chance to come in and feed because of the whiteout conditions, blowing snow, and now the heavy seas. It's coming right down into their feeding area. I'm taking this from inside because the camera wouldn't stand it outside today.
This bird landed in the water for some fish and is swimming to shore. Looks like it's going to make it. It looks like it's up on the beach now, flapping its wings. We picked this bird up at Anchor Point yesterday in a target shooting area. She has a wounded wing. It's possible she may have caught a bullet there.
Casts its spell on Jean King of Homer. During the winter, she's fed and cared for hundreds of bald eagles in her spare time. Alaska has so much to offer anyone who's willing to take it. It is a wilderness beyond the wildest imagination, just waiting to be explored. Alaska.
It's the first time moose have ever been out this far on the spit. She's looking for something to eat. Evidently, there's nothing out here for her. She's just laying there, kind of chewing her cud and relaxing. This is the moose that was resting at my place. She's still out here. We've been feeding her, and Fish and Game are going to try and get her off the spit this week. I'm about ready to give her some potatoes and bananas and cabbage and stuff. She got up the minute she saw my truck. That's Rob. Rob? Yeah. He got it, didn't he? Yeah. Boy, the other day I thought I was going to have to pick him up. They hit him and that leg hurt so bad that he just crumples to the ground. And he was just laying out here, you know. And I threw him some more food, but he gathered strength and he flew off. But he's the one that was hurt that real bad a year ago. Late in the spring, he'd gotten caught, and I didn't think he was going to make it, but... He's just sitting on an ice floe. Big chunk of ice out in the bay. This is Rob. He's only got one leg now. His foot has fallen off. You see he's having a pretty tough time.
Once I get her out, you can
This fellow's over in this camp over here.
Oh, there's your child. Put free. Just a minute. There you go. Hold her legs. And she may bite, but it doesn't hurt.
Well, John Martin told me, he said that he gave you permission to try and get that jump.
Wow, Dave.
She does that. Hold on to her legs.
It's all right, honey. It's okay. We're not gonna hurt you. You're probably back home and don't know it.
You gotta watch this one wing. He's got an injury on it.
Here,
There you go.
If we're bothering you, just tell us to get out of here. Stand in there, Nancy.
It's all right.
Like that.
Oh, you hate my gut, stone chestnut. I'm the source of a lot of your problems.
Pirate, here's a girlfriend for you.
God, he's beautiful.
She's just a real young bird. Her tail feathers are a little...
How old?
She's just hatched last summer.
Really?
Yeah. That's why I'm a little worried about her. You can see that she... somebody found her across Catchment Bay and then sent her over, and she lost her rear toe. So she's not a very experienced hunter, so kind of worried about her.
Oh,
That's
she
why I
does
wanted
have
to
a
release
band on,
her.
though, so I can
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I didn't put a radio on her. I debated it, and I thought she needed all the chances she had.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
You want me to turn around now?
On this side. That's a very important toe, too, that helix. It's a gripping toe.
Now, which one's the toe?
This one right here. Oops. See, here. See, she has it on this side. That's her gripping toe. That's what she uses to grip. And she lost a nail off this middle talon, too. But I think that'll come back. You know what, Tom? That toe is really flexible, though.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. You see that toe, kiddo? No, she just retracted.
Man, it's warm and it moves.
Yeah, you're okay.
It'll probably grow back.
Well, later, but she weighs probably about
10 to 12
12
pounds.
pounds, yeah.
She's been getting fattened up with her lifestyle.
Well, I've got lots of nice big fresh hairs.
That'll be good.
Yeah, we got her pretty fat so she can go a while without something to eat.
Could we get a minute's warning before you do? I mean, what's the?
You want to let her go?
When you're ready to fling her up in the sky, I'd like to get a picture. Okay. All right, Eagle. Off you go. Everybody say a little prayer, huh?
This is Grover, and he was so hungry this morning. He came in and is eating out of the bucket of food in the back of my truck before I could even get it out. He has a hard time keeping his balance, and he's got a real sore foot. It is kind of a tough time eating. This eagle just killed a seagull about 10 minutes ago. Not much left of him now. I guess he decided he wanted a warm meal this morning. This is Grover up on top of one of my campers. He comes in real close so he can get his food. Gotta give him a lot of credit. He's a tough old bird with his real sore foot and everything. This is Grover again. He just come in to eat this afternoon. It's a very cold day. He'll sit up there on that log pile, kind of out of the wind now. It's an eagle eating another seagull. They've really been kind of hard on him this year. Down there, he's got a very sore foot. Kind of a new handicap one this year. He just got through eating a big herring, so he's probably pretty full. There, you can see that foot now. It's probably been caught in a trap. This is February 3rd, 1990, and I'm sure I've got at least 300 birds in here again now. They really like to sit up on these log piles that we have after they're done eating. Up on top of the big gas tanks. They're all full pretty much, and they're just sitting around resting. This is an immature eagle eating on a seagull again. Warning the other birds away.
Gonna come out here just in a second now.
Years old, and she's about 2.5 years old. She came in from Cold Bay with a broken jaw. She originally went to Bird Treatment Learning Center in Anchorage, where they did surgery and inserted a plastic slip into her jaw to shift it over. I did home care with her for approximately a year. First she ate with tongs, and then she ate food cut up in little pieces, and then we worked her up to where she was eating whole fish and able to tear. Then she went to the flight center at Fort Rich for flight training. And so then I brought her out here, and I hope that she does good, so that she'd have more eagles to hang around with and a good food.
Released about 10 days ago. She evidently got pretty hungry, so she's back for a little snack. Otherwise, she seems to be doing fine. This bird has a broken beak on the bottom. We're going to try and pick it up today. He hasn't been able to eat for the last 3 days in here. Going to be getting pretty weak if we don't get him picked up today. This is the bird it couldn't eat, and we tried to capture the other day and finally had success today. I thought I would add a couple things after the
the movie, and I strongly suggest that people do not start a feeding program like this unless you talk with Fish and Wildlife and unless you know that you're going to have enough food for the birds for all winter long. It takes many thousands of pounds of food for their winter. And fortunately, I have Seward Fisheries over here, and it weren't for them, I wouldn't be able to do this. And so we don't want to make pets out of them, and I don't make any attempt to make pets out of them. I watch the crippled ones and watch over them to see that they get their food, cut their food up for them, and they will come up pretty close to the fence once they realize that they're the easy access for food for them there. And so that's one reason to have the barricades up, is to keep people kind of out of sight of the eagles, and yet they can watch them and take their pictures, and sometimes they have kind of a tough time making people realize that they should stay in their cars so they don't disturb them any. Also, I want to mention that there is a big cleanup job with this. After the birds are done feeding, then all the carcasses, which the meat's all been taken off them, has to be raked up and put into totes and taken back over and put into the grinder and put back out into the ocean again then. This process takes, from the feeding process itself and to the cleanup, takes between 5 and 6 hours a day in the wintertime. So it takes up a lot of the day. And a lot of times I hire people to give me a hand, and any money I put out is out of my own pocket. I don't get money from anywhere else, but it's a labor of love, so I certainly don't mind that. And maybe you noticed the one bird in there with the 1 foot, and that's one of the crippled ones, and of course, and they get around pretty good with just one stub, but it's easier if they can have the cut up food for them. And also the immature one that had a very bad right foot, and at the beginning of the season it couldn't put any weight on that foot, but by the end, when the spring came, why, it was putting weight on it, and it was getting much better. Hopefully it'll be back this winter. And the one that you saw just a headshot of is Pirate, and he's been coming for 3 years, and he has a stiff right leg. His ankle is rather swollen, but he flies with it, the foot hanging down, the leg, and because he can't retract it, but he gets along pretty well. And he's kind of a ham. He does come up pretty close, all right, but of course he's not here in the summertime. None of them are here in the summertime. But as I said, I kind of work with Fish and Wildlife on this, and if any birds are bad enough hurt that we feel they need to be taken into the Raptor Center, of course I always contact them. And then sometimes if a bird has been healed up at the Raptor Center, they'll bring them back here and release them. So because they're with the other birds, and they know that that they'll have the food that they need. And so, okay, thank you very much.